welcome to tonight's session of
Mythic Wyrd!
Last we left off, guys, what happened? Where were we?
Yeah. Well, Thalion, Bjorn, and Drea had just crushed the brain worm out of Daria's head, and they made their way back to me, Jed, and Kyla. And then from there, we spent some time deciding what to do next, and in the end decided that everyone was going to need to get some dirigible suits, which is what they're called. Yeah, get some dirigible suits so that they could breathe in the non-pressurized areas. So to do that, Harakai led them to his favorite vendor, Brunzin's elite artillery. And Harakai, expecting it to be empty, was instead greeted with gunfire from 2 mini airship models. And yeah, after that we met Brunzin, who's kind of crazy and is an alcoholic. And yeah, we just started exploring his wares, seeing what he has to offer, along with the suits, which we made a deal that we'd loan them and give them back to him, along with, I think it was 2 casks of ale. And
one of the rarest ales.
yeah, one of the rare ales. And that was pretty much where we ended it. I think we were about to start a long rest. So.
Correct, and then you guys, in that session, or outside of that session, we said that you guys were looking at his wares and then hassling him to make the different stuff, which he was happy to do. But yeah, he would obviously take the whole 8 hours and try to come up with something for you guys.
Also to note, he is completely oblivious to what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no windows in this place, and he has no idea what's going on, and he hasn't noticed that only Harakai is a dwarf.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Alright, did we miss anything?
No. Don't think
Alright. So, welcome to session 59.
Woohoo!
Almost 60 sessions.
Yeah.
That's almost 60 Fridays worth of D&D.
Ask the question. Should we continue splitting our sessions into 2 videos?
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Should we continue splitting our sessions? Because at the moment we're splitting them to 2 videos, so you guys are seeing them in 2 separate bits, or should we do one big 3 or 4 hour long session? You decide. Let us know in the comments down below. And also keep an eye out. We will be starting a Patreon very soon. We are just getting it all together, but keep an eye out for that as well, and give us some reward ideas. That'd be appreciated. Any other news?
Oh, Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, Instagram and TikTok is live now, so follow us at
Mythic Wyrd.
Mythic Wyrd,
That's the sick.
where you'll see snippets and backstage,
Behind the
behind the scenes,
scenes. Yeah.
bits and pieces, us setting up, painting, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, just join us, be part of the community, and keep spreading the Mythic Wyrd.
Yeah, boy!
Oh, dear.
Alright. That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And with that, welcome to session 59. You guys in Brunzin's shop hassled him about making different items, throwing ideas at him. The whole while he's been like scribbling on a chalkboard different ideas and stuff that you guys have. Before he tells you guys to retreat down below and rest while he works on these items for you guys. He hobbles over to your side of the counter where he undoes a latch in the ground that just like, without him touching it, you guys would never have noticed it's there. Opens it up with a hiss of aether gold, with a ladder leading down into a room below his workshop. Stale air blasts you guys in the face as you look down this short ladder to this dark, stingy, dusty room.
Is this some sort of dungeon?
Call it a storeroom.
And do you sleep down there?
I don't sleep.
I believe you.
You're quite handsome.
Right, yep.
Oh, then he's gonna eat us.
While you're tinkering, by the way, I've changed my mind about this axe. Could you have a look at what you could do with my current equipment?
He looks you over, like pulling at your belt and pieces of armor. Anything in particular?
I look at my axe and I'm like, nah, I don't want to really give that to him, so I unclip Fafnir's coil and give that to him.
He takes it off you and unwinds it, stretching it.
And I'm like immediately bleeding from where I removed the brace, where it's actually clenched into my flesh.
He gives you a nod and then tosses it onto the counter with a loud
Oh my gosh.
Can you even afford my services?
We've just given you 450 gold.
Can the rest of you afford my services?
I have some coin.
Some
I have some weed. The finest you'll ever find. Fair trade, I say. Looks like you need some. It's a deal!
We'll discuss payment after. Now leave me be! I have work to do.
I'm not sure if I trust him. I say as I head down. And I'm going to regret it.
You head down the ladder. I'm assuming the rest of you guys are heading down.
Harakai would like to stay up a bit.
Okay. The rest of you guys heading down?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, beautiful.
As we get down, considering Dre was close to me, I'll just sort of hang back with you a little bit and I'll say, I've been meaning to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier you tried to feed the necro vein some of your herbs. You said they were used for sleeping.
I made them myself. It's the only ones that could work for me.
But they do work.
Of course I do. I don't sell cheap stuff.
And is there any side effects?
I mean, look at me, I'm perfect. Would you like to try some?
Yes. If you don't mind.
Of course I don't mind. And then she starts like rummaging through her packet. I've got this one, it's an oil. It's like drops every 3 nights. You'll get knocked out for a week, trust me. This one,
Out for a week?
well, I mean it's like your body is asleep but your mind is awake.
What about just something that will help me get to sleep?
Oh yeah, just like normal herbs.
Sure.
Just hot water. Or you could eat it raw. I don't really like it raw.
Like tea.
Yeah, like tea.
I could drink a tea.
Go on.
Alright.
Tea! Anyone want tea? No one?
Do you need compensation?
Not for tea. I just like the company. And she starts making 2 cups. One for you, one for me.
Thank you. Well, it's ready already?
Yeah, okay, see it.
Is it like a cup?
Iced tea.
It's in like a cup that's very obviously broken and glued back together with like berry juice. Does that make sense? So it's like stained and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Does it get a handle? So
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
It's
okay.
broken.
Well, I just like grab my vest and like sort of hold it there.
Yeah, you might just wait for it to cool down.
Do you
Obviously.
Just sip it.
I just sip it. I mean,
How long before I'm out?
the longest I've been is 45 minutes. Usually it's like 15 minutes, but sometimes I just can't stop my brain.
Right. I make myself comfortable then. I'll get all my gear out.
So just so you guys know, so you've
Oh,
gone
sorry.
down the stairs here into a little, what looks like a little sitting room that hasn't been used for years, and it's attached to the bottom of his shop. And so you come down this ladder. There's kind of all junk everywhere in the room, and then there is 2 benches either side built into the place with a bay window that looks out underneath this guy's city. You can see the tunnels and the clouds and stuff slowly going past, and then the rest of it is scrap pieces of metal. You realize like the walls, all the rivets have been like taken out, pieces like vents have been ripped out to use as scrap, like in his creation and stuff. It's a tight room, but you know, one person can sleep here, one here, and then kind of, you know, you all basically be on top of each other. But from where you guys previously have been, and considering the amount of time you guys have gone without a rest, it is a welcoming sight. Like the graded floor just looks so comfortable right now.
Kyler is very eager to.
There's no oxygen here. Sorry.
Can I take off this suit? Like, how does do I need anyone to help me take off this suit, or is it?
You
Like,
could do it yourself, but
Okay.
because you're a little bit restricted, it's kind of awkward. You know, like you're reaching out latches and stuff. But it's almost like a jumpsuit, and the armor pieces sit on top of it. So you can stay in the jumpsuit if you want, or take off the armor pieces and then climb out of the jumpsuit.
No, I want to climb out of it.
Yeah, you can do it yourself.
Cool. Start stretching.
So you take off the heavy mag boots, kick them to the floor. As you guys all start to settle into this room looks like it hasn't been accessed for ages, and it's dusty, and the air just smells stale as the air system kicks in and starts blowing in through a vent, and it just smells like there's something dead in the vent.
Treya just gets out like a ward of sage from her bag and a ladder, and she's just gonna walk around the room. Not a ladder, like, you know. Yeah. And she just walks around the room. She's like, "You don't know what could have died here. What spirits are here? Does he eat humans?" And she's just walking around whispering to herself.
Probably.
Meanwhile, Az is perched on your cup and he's like,
He's like, "Yeah." That's it.
I'm just gonna look around the room. With the junk that's down there, is there anything particular? Is it just little junk?
it's like off-cuts, pieces of metal, broken drill bits, just random pieces that have been kicked down here or just forgotten about.
Awesome. Is there any books or parchments or?
Make a perception check.
And I'm also looking for some sort of barrel container, something that's big enough to fit Thallium.
There's no. There's a crate that's like filled with pieces of scrap metal that you could upheave,
Yeah.
but it's like you'd be like knees to your chest, like sitting in a small
Gotcha.
crate. It's a small room.
So
40.
Okay, you do find a dusty old book underneath. That's thrown in the corner. That's underneath all kind of scrap metal and scrap pieces of wood, and it's a heavy leather-bound book with the Caradrim-like mask on there and embossed on the front cover. You open it up and you flick through it. Does your belt let you read Dwarven?
Can, yes.
Yeah, so it's all filled with Dwarven, and it seems to be a book about breathing exercises to survive like low pressurized air or like thin air.
Awesome. Alright. Yeah,
Do
so,
an investigation check on it.
17.
Okay, so you flick through it, and if you spend 8 hours, or no, if you spend 2 hours reading through it, like flicking through the main bits,
Yep.
You'll gain the knowledge, or you gain the breathing exercises to breathe in low pressurized areas without any difficulty or without any mask or anything like that.
Jeez.
Awesome. Nice.
Cool.
Alright,
Pass that book around.
Ah.
I'm going to take the book with me, and then I am going to upheave that container if that's the only one I can.
Mhm.
And then in the barrel itself, I'm going to take my shell off, and then I'm going to pour it. And as I do, it's going to gush out with seawater and
That's
just sort
cool.
of fill the barrel. And then I'm going to spend some time just washing up.
That's so cool.
Nice.
And then you're going to see, I'm going to put the book, Fallon's going to put the book next to him, going to put the shell in the water,
Mhm.
and then he's going to kneel down next to it for an hour or so and do a ritual that he's seen Boulder do.
Nice.
Once that's finished, I'm going to take it, I'm going to sort of get as much of me as I can into the water, and I'm going to sort of sit and read the book in there.
Okay, so you splash awkwardly in your clothes.
No, strip down.
Yeah, so you strip down,
Oh
and it's a very small room, so there's nowhere to hide. And you
Nor am I trying to.
you sit in there, and the water like comes like your knees are like to your chest. It's a good position to probably reach. You can open the book on your knees, but like your willy's hanging out like out of the water, and you've just spilt water everywhere. As you
More
can.
tea.
Oh! I don't think you'll need it. I'm sure you can sleep in there, right? Drea
Sleep.
faces the window. It's a lovely night. Why did I come
But
here?
you hear a bit of splashing, and you just like open your knees a little bit, and Az is just like on the corner like this, just holding himself up, his legs and tail just like floating, and he's like,
Oh, he's so cute.
as he just sinks, like he sinks himself, and the water's like just up to it. You can just see like his nostrils and his eyes just above the water, and his hands.
So I'm going to open the book, start reading it, and like flick at the pages, and with my other hand, I'm just going to sort of rub his head with my finger.
Alright, so what are the rest of you guys doing?
Drea is gonna get out her journal, and she's just gonna journal for a bit while looking out the window, and then she'll probably retire.
Yeah.
Actually, no, she wants to talk to Bjorn. As she's like journaling, where are you?
Sitting in our corner drinking some tea.
So do you get nightmares? Is that why you can't sleep? Or is it like
Yeah,
something else medical?
terrors.
I get that.
Actually, they haunt me day and night.
I definitely get that.
But at night they're much worse.
Does anything help?
Hopefully this will.
Gombe.
Whatever you just said.
Cheers!
Alright. I need both of you to make a con saving throw.
Oh shit.
Okay. Can you just make sure the HDMI's in? We just lost the audio.
Into the TV.
Yeah. Because the screen's on top.
You didn't tell me I was like something
False
horrible.
I just gonna pass out.
I swear, it was just like
Could have been
lavender.
pulled out when you get it down,
Each-
like from the back of the
I got a 9. 10, sorry.
I got
That's
I got
right, what is going
9.
What'd you guys get?
I got a 9.
And you got a 10? Okay. Both roll a d4 and add 1.
What? When you weigh?
5.
5 total?
5! Me too.
Okay. So you only had a little bunch of wild herbs left, so you've split them between the 2 cups. Within 50 minutes, you guys will both be out.
Okay.
Are we getting like more and more drowsy?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is it just 1 cup? Like, is it like a little tiny cup?
Yeah, it's like a little,
Alright.
like, you know
Mug,
what was
right?
everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like a bit bigger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I've moved on to that to some. Can I have bean carrying wine? I don't know. Oh, like my water skin, I guess. And like, as we're getting drowsier, he's getting more and more loose tongued. Yeah, just a bunch of horrible shit.
I understand.
Sometimes I just, like, think about hurting myself. Just the pain.
I think about hurting others. Which I think is like...
Done that too much.
Beyond. And she's like, Drowsy, don't hurt yourself. You are far too valuable to me.
I miss Skink Man.
I miss pie.
Pie?
My aunt used to make cherry pie. And she starts crying all the time. But she wasn't really my aunt, but it was nice.
That's beautiful.
I just, sometimes I see her in my dreams when I'm not having terrors. And I wish I got her recipe.
Do you know what? Don't give up. One day, we'll go see your aunt, who's not really your aunt.
She's dead. And she sounds like crying, sobbing.
I'm sure there's a spell where I could, like, ask her one last question from beyond.
I mean, she's like still around, but she died, but she's still here. You know?
Well, my aunt is the strongest woman I've ever seen. She's a better warrior than most of the men back home.
Most women are.
Yeah.
She's like wiping her tears.
So as they're talking, Bjord's reached into his pack and he's like, could you help me with this? And he passes you a ball. It's like a little metal ball. And he like reaches into his pack again and he's like, I think I'm gonna call it a night. And he puts like a brace into his mouth and like ties it. And then holds out his hands to you. He's like, just put it. Click that little button.
Huh?
The ball.
She
And
clicks
then
it.
throw it at me.
Oh, okay. She ditches it. But she's like
I gotta
drowsy,
go.
so she's like,
Alright. Like you see it just sort of unravels and winds itself around me.
what the hell?
Lives. And I'm like, oh! I crash.
That surely is not good for circulation. But I respect it. She just falls asleep. That's bonding.
Meanwhile, you guys have just all seen this weird exchange between
Why
these
are
two.
all my herbs like drugs? What am I carrying?
Dario and Kyla, what are you guys doing?
I don't think that was sleeping medicine. It's one of those weird herbs.
Dara's kind of caught up just in reading a letter. He's like, yeah, maybe we should check up on them a little bit later. Make sure they're okay.
Yeah. Have you seen Beyond tired and stuff like that before?
Well, I've noticed whenever we tend to sleep, he's normally somewhere else.
Interesting. I haven't noticed that at all. But yeah.
If it's what I think it is, I think it's better. He's tied up.
You think you can still turn into that beast?
I'd rather not find out.
Jed's here with us as well, isn't he?
He's out. He's taken one of the benches and he's face down, helmet still on, and even through the helmet you can hear. what like leg and arm hanging off, and he's out. Like he just walked down here and just went straight there and just passed out.
Nice.
I think I'm going to take that serpent ring and it's time I put it on.
Okay.
Finally.
So you need to spend an hour attuning to it.
Okay.
So which you can do in your long rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Bloodborne. Yeah, I think I'm gonna retire for the night as well, but I'm blue, and he thinks we're all dwarfs. So
Are you wearing the suit?
I took it off. Is there anywhere in this room where I can sleep? And if he opens up the latch or whatever and peeks his head, he won't see me?
It's a small room, so if he comes down, he like there's nowhere to hide in this room.
Is there, like, you know, anywhere I can... I think that's a goal.
The best chance is probably on one of those benches, which is the furthest away from the ladder.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go there.
What are you doing there?
Dara's kind of still deep in the letter, and he asks if anyone's awake.
Carlos still awake. I'm like, yeah.
Try it. It's definitely not.
I'm awake, but I'm very intrigued in my book. You can
As
hear me awake though.
As I look at this ring, popping out blood.
That is... Carla. You're a good kid.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've always saw you as one of the part of the family. You know, back in Saborn, where he was always trading with my father, trying to get the better bargain. Simpler times, aren't they?
Your father was a good man.
Yeah, it was. I do miss him a lot, honestly. I wonder if he was alive, what would he be doing now? But still running around, yelling at me or Izzy.
Well, I know one thing. Dara puts the letter, tucks it like under his armor. So he'd be proud of you. And Dara kind of sadly just slumps over and starts to go to sleep. He's like, "Good night, Carla."
Yeah. Good night, Dario. And I kind of go to sleep, but that thought is like stuck with me, and I just think about that for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
After a couple of hours of reading, is everyone asleep? Would everyone be asleep at that time?
I would be.
I think Harikai's still up. Are you with Brunzin, Harikai?
Yeah.
After a couple
Okay,
hours.
so what's happening there first?
So
everyone's gone downstairs, and I presume have you closed the latch?
Yeah.
So you close the door. It slowly sinks back in at perfect level with the rest of the floor disappearing. And you just hear Brunzin. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And he's playing with his mechanical parrot.
I thought he was talking to Harikai. Some weird dwarf fetish going on.
Hey, Brunzin.
Yeah.
Hey.
Who are you?
Harikai?
Why aren't you sleeping?
Look, I'm gonna need you to come with us
Where?
to the barrack den where you'll be safe.
No, thank you.
Look, if you don't come, you're just gonna stay here and die.
Yeah.
No! I'm not gonna leave you here.
Harikai, This is my world. As the doors open to his workshop, and he just, presents to you a wild mess. If I die here, I die happy. Plus, who would look after Pigeon?
I can't do it. I can't leave you here. Look, there are monstrosities in the skyport.
And I've been fine.
So far, but they're not gonna stop. They're gonna come and tear everything down until the Sky City falls, and the rest of our race, including you, including your customers, including the ale, including your shop, your world, is all going to fall. Alright? So I need to
Let
connect it.
them. And he pulls out a chainsaw and starts revving it. Where are the bastards? I may be old, but I still have fighting spirit.
Brunzin, we need to get you somewhere safe. Alright?
Hurricane. Death comes for all of us.
Yeah, and I'm sick of it. Alright? I'm sick of it. So let's get out of here, and maybe you'll survive with your veal and the rest of them.
He slowly powers down the chain axe and is like, conversation for another time. I've work. You're distracted.
No, it's not a conversation for another time, Brunzin. Look, I know you only care about your shop, you only care about the gold, you only care about the alcohol. But for a second, could you just think that there's an outside world and people's families and friends and...
I have no family or friends. They're all dead, Hurricane.
I'm a friend. I've been a loyal customer here for years.
An acquaintance.
Look,
I'm old and tired, Hurricane. Let me die doing the thing I love most.
Brunzin, I can't do it.
So, what are you going to do? Take me by force?
If I have to.
You're a wee bastard, aren't you?
Brunzin, I'm telling you now, I'm not leaving you here no matter what you say or do.
I've been safe so far. It's fine, Hurricane. God, you're a sore, sour kid.
It's not fine, Brunzin.
Doom and gloom, blah, 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 Hurricane. Would you like some drink?
No! Look, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but if you actually looked outside, you'd see corpses lining the streets. Of your customers. Even if the Sky City doesn't fall, how could you expect to survive with no customers?
Take persuasion check.
That's an 8.
Hurricane, shut up. I have work to do. And you're yap. Get out of my sight and leave me to my work. You get the feeling that that's the end of the conversation. Then he takes out a little 8th gold bowl, pours a little bit of alcohol in there, and puts Pigeon on the desk. He's like, dribble. It starts up, and he's like,
This conversation isn't over.
You just hear machinery start turning on. Extraction fans, forges, everything just starts turning on, and he just leaves you in the shop front. Door closes behind him.
Okay. I'll turn and make my way down the hatch.
Open it up, making your way down, and you see your friends settling in. Valiant naked in a small barrel as Björn all tied up, him and Andrea out next to each other. Jed out, and Kyla and Dario just settling in.
Wow, that's fast. And Herikai's just gonna nestle into a corner and just get some shot at.
Awesome.
Once everyone's asleep and I've had a few hours of reading, I just want to climb out my barrel, and I want to grab Harakai's tinkering tools.
Oh no.
Out of his bag.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing it quietly without him waking up?
Or I'm assuming actually here is there just like random bits of simple tools.
There's like you'd find like one hammer probably, then a whole bunch of broken tools.
Yeah. I'll go for Harakai's.
Do you want to do it quietly, or are you gonna wake him up, or?
He is the shittest.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm doing it quietly.
Alright, make a sleight of hand check. And Haruka, what is your passive perception?
13, I think. Oh, let me check. Perception. Yeah, 13.
So I sneak over very stealthily with my roll of 5.
Of course.
He is the
Harukai,
shittest.
you're halfway to dozing off before you just feel wet, cold water on
Do you
your
have clothes
face.
on?
And you open your
I'm
eyes
still
to a hairy off-college swing in your face. And Thalion is like both legs over you, and I'm assuming you're like rested up against your pack, and is like leaning over you, and is digging in your
Just-
pack.
Quietly, as. Quiet.
What are you doing?
Oh my
Get up,
gosh,
get
you
up!
woke him!
And Arikai's just gonna kind of like kick him off. Still kind of half asleep.
I'm sorry,
What are
I
you-
told him to be quiet.
What are you doing?
What do you I just, can I borrow your stuff?
No,
Just,
no, no,
what?
no.
These are broken.
What's broken?
The tools.
Okay,
Can I borrow yours?
no. What do you need tools for?
I just, it's important.
You know, this doesn't work. You can't answer my question by giving a vague answer like it's important. That makes it seem very suspicious.
So can I borrow?
No. What are you doing?
Well done, guys.
What are you?
Get off you and go start collecting some of the broken tools.
Alright,
Please
you
put some
spent-
clothes on.
You spent 2 hours reading, so if you don't go to bed now, you're not going to rest.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tinker for like half an hour or so.
Do you want to read the full book though? You won't be able to do it because
Okay.
that itself would take 2 hours, and you're not going to be able to get enough rest.
Okay. I'll read most of the book.
Halfway?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. What are you trying to do?
I'm just gonna tinker with some small scraps, nothing important.
Okay. All right. Easy. Az watches you for a little bit before you just see him disappear off the edge of the bucket, and he just sinks into the water. And just see him, like, if you look over, he's just like arms open, eyes open, but he looks like he's just asleep. And every now and then it's like bubbles
He's
just come
under
out.
the water.
Yeah, he's just under the water.
Oh my god.
Seeing some water.
It is.
So you spend the next half an hour to hour tinking around, and you're gonna get some rest.
I think it's some rest, yep.
Buck in the barrel, or
No, just against it though.
awesome. All right, you all doze off to a much needed sleep, and
Sorry. I'm just gonna ask. do the herbs work?
Yes. You two are in the deepest of sleeps out of the game.
Yeah, like a peaceful sleep.
I told you, I'm
The
not
deep
cheap
sleep.
stuff.
And you all sink away to your own kind of dreams and thoughts, and everyone's got something different on their mind. You're thinking about your brother and the letter. Kylie, you're thinking about your dad. You're thinking about your auntie. But out of everyone, Björn, you're the only one who's having a rough time.
God damn it! So I don't know.
No, it did work. You're in a very deep sleep. But as your consciousness slips off into the deepest part of your rest, you find yourself in a cold, dark forest. Chest heaving, you can see your breath misting out in front of you. You're looking down at your hands that are claws, covered in blood, before you hear a twig snap behind you. You turn around and you see the ranger again. Silhouette broken up by the cover of trees. Bow pulled back, aimed perfectly at your heart. From underneath his hood, you can see the glint of his eyes. As you meet his, slowly lets it back. And then you find yourself at a door. You're bleeding, or it's your blood, you're not sure, but there's blood on you. Your chest is heaving, and you've been pounding on this door, and you can feel the scratches in it. You don't know if it's you or if it was done before. But as you come to consciousness, you pound on the door again weakly, and then you hear a woman screaming above you. It's a monster! And just before you look up, you hear the heavy thud of a crossbow and a bolt burying itself deep into your shoulder. You roar out into the night, looking up, and you see a half-dressed fat man at the third story of a manor. Crossbow still in his hand, eyes wide, before his wife screams again. Monster. You go into a rage, and the door that was barring your way rips off the hinges as you make your way through. It's a flurry of screams as rage fills you at that word, and you just hear it being shouted again and again. You tear at clothes, beds, ripping bookshelves, throwing furniture, throwing people through windows. You realise in your haze the servants coming out, still dressed in their nightgowns with candles, confused at what's happening. You don't give them a second to take anything in. You tear at them. You run up the stairs. You just want to get the lady that keeps screaming monster at you. The man, you kick down the door, and the man that shot you is hastily trying to fumble around the crossbow, trying to put another bolt in. Before he even has the chance to step up or scream anything, you've torn out his throat. He goes flying across the room, crashing against the bed frame, knocking the top of it down. The woman's on the bed, crawling away from you, screaming. You loom over her as she screams the word again. And then you find yourself just infused with rage, and before you know it, her limp body is in your hands, throat torn out as she gurgles her last breath away. Blood pumping from her neck. You drop her in a spit of fear, and looking around, the room is absolutely trashed. Everywhere there's blood coming up the stairs into the room. The bed sheets are covered with blood. You're covered with blood. And you just see a window. Your only escape. You run, launching yourself out the window. Glass shatters against your body as you free fall through the night, landing hard against the ground. You feel your ankle or something in your leg go, but you don't care. You get up and you run. The screams of the dead still coming from behind you. You run through the field of corn, running into the night. You just run into the forest before you come suddenly to an edge of cliff. You stop, chest heaving, your lungs burning. You hear someone behind you. You turn. Before you see your wife, pale in the moonlight, dressed in white. She's holding her large belly. It hangs low.
What?
You stare at her and you just feel yourself release the tension. You try to hide your hands, wipe away the blood, and you take a step towards her. She holds out a hand. She's scared of you. You're confused. Stop. Stop. You try to explain yourself, but she takes another step back as you try to approach her, clutching at her belly. She looks down. Her white dress begins to turn the colour of red as her womb bleeds, covering her dress and the white snow underneath her. She looks up at you, fear in her eyes. Why did you do this? Why? You try to explain yourself again. You take a step forward. What do you do?
Astrid, that wasn't me. You have to believe me.
You're a monster. That word. Painful and harsh, but so much more painful coming from her, sticks in your heart. You feel rage flowing up inside of you again. You try to fight it back. You try to defend yourself. You see the fear in her eyes. She shies away from you. Never before has she done this. It makes you angrier and angrier as she shrinks before you and you loom above her. She falls to her knees, screaming and crying as her womb bleeds. She's in a puddle of her own blood, the white snow around her, red as she screams as you come towards her. Everyone in the room is jolted awake by the screams of Björn, muffled as he fights against his bonds. It wasn't me! He says, muffled in a deep demonic voice. You guys jolt up, pulling up your weapons, your heart beating as you see Björn struggling, almost growing, his clothes tearing, his fangs growing in his face, his voice becoming deeper. Blue mist seeks out of his eyes. He screams again, a dark demonic voice, as he struggles again against his bonds. It wasn't me! His veins bulge in his head as he stretches against his bonds. What do you guys do?
What do we do?
I know. Have I had a long rest?
Yes, you guys are coming to the end of your long rest now.
Alright. I'll quickly run up to Bjorn. I'll kind of grab him and have one hand on the side of his head and just say, I say, it's okay, calm down, and cast a 2nd level spell slot, sleep.
Nice. You have to make a con saving throw, I think is how it works.
I don't know how it works.
Spell sends a creature into a magical slumber, roll 5d8.
He struggles as he screams again. Is anyone else doing anything? As you guys see Dario throw the covers off as he launches to his feet, crashing down next to Björn, holding him down.
I've got 33. I don't know what that does.
I think it's got to be at least half of his health, his max health or something for it to pop up or something, isn't it?
Well,
That is half my max health.
But that's not including my spell modifier.
I think that's how it works. Just
I was saying the spell.
Holy moly.
You've got a wife?
She was pregnant?
What the hell?
Yeah, that he killed.
Oh yeah,
Oh
increased
gosh.
hit points must be equal to
That was so intense.
total of the
Maybe.
affected.
Regardless, I'm going to say it works as he's already half asleep. You flow your magic through into him, and as he yells and struggles, they become mumbles and almost sobs as he begins to weep in his sleep. The blue energy slowly dims in his eyes as tears run down his cheeks. I didn't know. Is the last thing he half mumbles, half sobs. Snot running out of his nose as he relaxes in your arms.
What the
All
hell?
of you are shocked.
Has that happened before?
No?
Is there a bed free?
There's just the two. They're more like benches, but Jed's still out, and I think Kyla was in the other one.
So you're awake, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm awake, yeah.
It's like, Carla, come help me.
I'm standing behind you with the barrel of water. I had the opposite idea. I was gonna throw it over him.
What do you need?
Help me lift Bjorn to the bench.
He looks... Okay, I got this. I'll grab his legs.
Okay.
You guys heave him up between you, shuffling in the tight room, and manage to get him on the bench, pushing his legs up. He sobs a few more times in his sleep, tears still rolling down his face. What are you guys doing?
Does anybody know what the hell just happened?
Can I do like a magical aura check to see if it's like influenced by magical or wild
Make an
or
arcana check.
anything like
You
that?
said like you were growing fangs and stuff, right?
Correct.
Sorry, not to point out the elephant in the room, but he had fangs and fur. That is not a human.
Weren't you watching us at the Contest of Champions?
I mean, I wasn't physically there, I just heard stories.
The first time you met Bjorn, he was a humanoid wolf.
But I thought that was over with.
Me too, but apparently not, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
Is it a curse?
Honestly, I don't know anything about it. He doesn't talk about it very much.
This is the first time it's ever really affected anything.
I didn't even realize that he slept like that. Dari just mentioned earlier that every time we did have a rest, he would always be by himself in his tent.
That must be painful to go through by himself.
Yeah.
Astrid. He sobs again.
Are they any blankets in
I got a 7.
7. You try to focus your energy around it, but you don't feel anything that's arcane coming from him.
Are there any like clean rags or anything?
There's rags on the floor that are like covered in oil and stuff, and but you can find a half clean one.
I find the cleanest one I can get. I go to Thalin's container of water and I try and wash it. And I'll fold it up and I go put it on his forehead.
Yeah.
I don't think he's influenced by any other source of magic.
I know the name Astrid. Being from the family, or was that?
No, I don't think you do. And you've never spoken about it, Bjorn, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, what the hell do we do now? Do we just...
Well,
What?
I can take watch. Make sure he's okay throughout the night.
how
You
how
say
long
that.
did you put him to sleep for?
Oh yeah, how's she awake?
You guys, as you're kind of up and still gaining your bearings, you realise the crack of dawn is starting to slowly seep through the window. It's not quite dawn yet, but the sky is a dark. Oh, sorry, it's a light blue, and it'll be dawn in probably half hour, 45 minutes.
Are there any windows, like, above the latch in the store?
No windows in the store.
Alright, Harkai's gonna poke his face out the window and see if he can see any necros or anything.
You poke it out, and the window is more facing down.
Mm.
You can see some of the network tunnels and everything, but you don't see anything on top. You see a few distant ships floating, and just the clouds slowly rolling underneath you.
Alright, well, shoot, we better check if any of the necros heard us, right? I'll go have a look. And Harkai's gonna go back up.
Wait, Hardback, you shouldn't go by yourself. Just give me 1 second. I want to get equipped
You're
real
up?
quick. Yep. I'll go with you.
Alright,
Nice.
let's go.
You unlatch it, slowly open it up to an empty storefront. The workshop door is still closed. The door to the shop front is still sealed as well, and you listen out. Make a perception check, both you guys.
Can I roll for, because it's already dawn, for the stuff?
Yep.
Cool, because I just rolled and I rolled a 6.
I got 9.
9, and your perception check.
Sorry.
I'm gonna do guidance on you. I'm just gonna, like, keep an ear out for the necrons. Alright? +4.
Ooh, thanks, because I got really bad. Sorry, just 1 second. I think it's a +1.
I'll
13?
13. You both listen out for a good 5 minutes, staying low in the shop,
Oh, sorry. 12.
but you both don't hear anything. You spend another 5 minutes just to make sure nothing's going to come to the door. And there's nothing.
Drea's gonna rummage through her bag and she's gonna pull out like a sketchbook and 2 other journals before she gets to a black bound journal that is clearly very, very old. And she just opens it up and she is just kind of like flicking through the pages. Because of the medicinal background that Dre has and who she spent time with, she wants to find anything that she can on night terrors and curses.
Nice. Okay. Make a history check.
With advantage?
Yeah, with advantage.
Oh, sweet.
What are you guys doing? You're heading back down? You realise like the lid to the thing, the latch is like a thick metal thing that's been reinforced, and the whole floor is like, you know, a good 15 centimeters thick.
How heavy was those doors that I called into? Because they were thick doors too, though.
They were thick doors. These are even thicker to the shop.
I got a 12.
12. You rummage through, and there is a few things that come to mind. And you know a little bit about lichen curses. But with that roll, you just don't have quite enough here. Can't remember quite enough to kind of pinpoint something.
Yeah.
Do you hear anything?
No. But, I mean, those Gatling guns made noises as well. I think we might be safe here.
Sorry, Dre's just gonna, in her other sketchbook that she's currently writing in, she's just gonna write down what she saw Bjorn do, like the light blue, how he transformed, and some of the things that she heard him say,
Nice.
and just put everything away.
Alright, should go back down. Actually, I might just check on Brunzin real quick. It'd be kind of awkward if you just heard screaming from below.
You get the sense though that like you could hear his tools and stuff before you went down, before you guys spent the night, and then as soon as you went down and closed the latch, you couldn't hear anything. So you get the sense that it would
It's like soundproof.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I think the latch is pretty thick. I think we should be alright. Set back down.
You head back down, and as you guys kind of slowly go back, or start getting ready for the day ahead of you, Bjorn, within half hour, you slowly come to consciousness, and you feel that last part of the sleep was the best sleep you've ever had, as you slowly come back, opening your eyes, and you're just facing the metal great wall. You can feel the bonds around you, the brace still in your mouth, and as you kind of slowly roll on your back, you realise you're not in the same spot you were before, and you kind of watery-eyed look around, and you just see all your friends staring back at you, all awake.
I spit out my embrace. What happened? Did something happen?
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah.
Gavin nods his head as well.
Yeah.
Was it bad?
Pretty bad.
For you.
Yeah.
I remember the dream, though.
Yeah.
I look around at all of them, so make sure they're all there. I'm like, sorry about that. And I'll just start muttering under my breath. And eventually Martin Sing's servant pops up and releases me from my bonds.
The bonds are released and you kind of stretch out. Your muscles are all tense and cramped as your unseen servant packs the construction back away for you.
There, so I have to wrap it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thalia's gonna not be staring at him. I'm gonna go and start packing my stuff and grab my book and read.
Joel's just gonna go up to you. I'm just gonna be like, I dreamt of my aunt.
She dead or alive this time.
Alive.
That's nice.
I know what it's like to be haunted by the past. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between waking and not awake.
Yeah, it's fine. It's nothing.
It will continue to haunt you if you don't talk about it.
What's the time?
Breakfast, I think, right, cousin?
Right, yes. Wow, I'm usually up before this, sorry. Sorry you'll have to see me like this. And he'll go and he'll grab his weapons. Well, actually his only axe is there. And he'll basically begin his morning ritual that everyone had that he does every single morning. He'll do his chin-ups first.
So
And then he'll grab his weapon.
before you do that, don't worry about it. Don't say sorry. And I mean, between that, and seeing Thalian naked, yeah, that was nothing.
Yeah.
I do actually agree.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Rations! Start pulling out rations.
Clothes. That's
Oh, I'm dressed now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm dressed before I went to bed.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
they knew this.
Harakai has gone over to all the scrap pieces, and he's just looking around at everyone. He's like, "Am I going to be the only person that asks about what just happened?"
At this point, I'm doing watching up on my inventory rod. But
You're
if
facing
I,
the window,
unseen servant.
and you've placed the rod. It's current place, but you've placed it in this section over the benches. Jed's still here out, and you're just facing the window.
When,
As you-
when Harakai says that, I'm just going to go up to him and give him a pack of rations. And I'm going to lean in close to him. I'm going to say, take it from someone who knows. No one likes being stared at when they're a monster.
I mean,
Do I hear that?
How loud did you do this?
Pretty loud. Pretty quiet.
At this point, Harakai's got his goggles on. He's pulled out his notebook and he's tinkering around with some of the things in his pack. And he just looks up at you and he's like, "Look, I don't want to be rude, but like, is that a one-off thing? Is that gonna happen every night from now on? Like, you don't need to give me the details. I just need to know just in case."
He's clearly got it under control, Harakai.
He's been with us for a while.
I was just,
And that's
I was
never
just
happened.
exhausted. Normally I would find somewhere else to be,
Alright, but
or cast a spell or something. But
look, the only thing
circumstances.
I need
Yeah,
to know
no
is...
problem. I mean, he.
No,
Is there,
look, no offense, right?
I don't actually know what happened.
You don't know anything? Like, is it... Do you have, like, a schedule? Or... Like, does it happen ever so often? Rough estimate?
What did happen?
Well,
Did I speak in my sleep?
You
Drea is
screamed.
gonna get her notebook again and like flick to the page and give it to you for what she recorded.
You wrote this down?
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you for that.
She puts it back in the thing. Does anyone know how to plait hair?
And I just burned it. I just ignite it.
I like that paper. I made it myself. Does anyone know how to plait hair?
I've been known to do quite a nice plait.
Anyone other than Talion? Please.
Look,
As puts it in.
it won't be a problem. Alright.
She goes over to Talion. She's just gonna wet her hair from your water. She has a bit of coconut oil. She's like, can you do little space ones?
It won't be a problem.
Are you certain?
I'm quite good at plaiting. Just a bit. I used to plait my mum's elvish long hair.
I have 2 of these. I use one every night. It'll hold me down if anything happens. Alright?
Okay.
just what about if it's not night and you get a little angry?
It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen anymore. Alright? You don't have to be scared.
During the battles that we have, did Kyla notice any changes in Beyond, like things? Or
You all would have noticed that in the Tentis battles that you guys would have had together. Actually, no, Dario, you would have been the only one in the forest when you guys were stalking Sigismund's men. That he was very similar, turning a bit feral, voice
I'm still
bigger,
doing my pull-ups, by the way.
fangs protruding, eyes more canine-like. But the rest of you guys in the heated battle, like, you know, he does get a little bit feral, you could say.
I wear a mask most of the time.
Correct.
Look, if it makes you feel more comfortable, Harakai, maybe you could make a stronger bond, something that you trust.
Yeah, I just didn't know what to do, to be honest. Kind of Like, I wanted to help you, but is there something we should do? If that happens again, or...
Just stay away.
What, were those stumpy little legs?
That was racist.
Come on, lighten up.
Okay. Alright. Whew. Really got the adrenaline pumping.
Dario, are you gonna help me out with this morning's workout or what? You have to get Kyler to jump in or something.
Alright.
And I get my Unsee so to give me my blindfold because I've been practicing like that lately.
Yeah.
Prepare. I'm just assuming we'll be doing it. Quite often.
It's a tight spot. You guys can make it work, but it's tight. And halfway through, as everyone's kind of packing up and getting Russians out, Jed is forgotten about, but all of a sudden he's like, "Ah!" and just sits up. He's been face down the whole night in his helmet. And he just sits up, looks around, takes off his helmet. You can just see his nose is like squished, face red, slobber all on his face, sleep still in his eyes, and he's like, "Did I smell food?"
Morning.
Food?
Yeah.
Throw a ration at him.
He takes it and just sits quietly in the corner, still half asleep, just munching on it.
Just gonna go as they're doing the push-ups.
No, we're like
Sparring, yeah.
sparring now with Beyond blindfolded.
Gotcha. Just sparring? Friendly sparring?
Oh yeah, like training. Have I been getting better at the blindfold fighting?
Yeah. And you're nearly to the point where you've mastered it.
Really?
Dario's
Wow.
putting out a few, he's still surprising you with a few hits and stuff, but this is probably the worst that you've done, being kind of in a different area, like on metal, it sounds bouncing off metal walls and stuff. It's not usually, you guys are usually out in the open stuff.
Yep.
But you pick up a few bruises in the first 15 minutes and then you kind of adapt to your
What?
surroundings.
If I can, I want to be reaching out with my mental prowess,
Mm-hmm.
so my psychic abilities,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to use that as a sense, as in addition to sound and
Mm-hmm.
all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So try and like tap into his psychic, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense, and sense information.
It's a new thing too. So you're sending out your magic, and you're experimenting with that side of it as you're reaching out.
And then I spike him. Just kidding.
Thalion,
As I shape water, whirl it around a little bit out of the barrel.
where the heck did you get all this water from?
Oh, sure. I say as I braid, throw his hair,
I look
So
at
I've got-
her. Duh. From the ocean.
and I kind of mutter it because part of her hair is like I'm holding with one hand.
Your shell? I'm gonna try to pull some water from his shell. I don't know if I can.
No, say you can't. You pull the water off the shell itself. It's like condensated onto it, and you pull it off, and then after a few seconds, it like kind of the water seeps back through the shell. That you can pull off more, but you can't like pull out a stream from it. or anything.
That's... Could you show me?
My hand.
Alright, but maybe after? That's pretty cool.
And as I start to finish doing your hair, it's not quite a space one. It's a bit more intricate. It looks a bit more like that.
I love it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Love it.
That's it?
Show the camera.
That's cool.
I love that. Oh my
That's
god,
cool.
you can be my personal like stylist.
Because you're very
It's not my
delicate.
best work, but you'll
This
keep it out your face.
This is incredible, Thalion. Do you know what? I have been trying to. Hair is very hard.
Well, my mum used to always say the key thing is to keep it out your face for battle.
Carl
I
has
like your mum. Wise words.
a
I've just been
massive
using a twig.
Carl has a massive sigh as this conversation going on as he's steps is
You're a buzz cut level.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
just magic images.
you guys spend the next 15-20 minutes getting ready, finishing off your exercises, finishing off any rations, packing up.
I'll just say I'll set, after that I'll kneel, do my ritual on my axe, and set my crimson right.
Yep.
So you know. Yep.
Awesome. And then I presume you guys are ready to go upstairs? Awesome.
If Harakai can, he's been tinkering with some plans like on the floor, and he's gonna pick them up and he's gonna be like, oh, I need some pieces from Brunzin, and he's gonna go up the hatch a bit earlier, and so there's the counter and then there's a door and then that's where Brunzin's working.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Harakai is going to walk behind the counter, and then just in front of the door, he's going to set up a snare and cast a spell, snare.
No, that's
Okay.
So,
Oh yeah, what did you make?
as you guys yeah, so it's invisible. The shot is when he moves in, and creature. Yeah, it's pretty much a snare. So if he steps in it, it's invisible. He gets hoisted 3 feet above the ground.
Okay. Alright, you finish it off, and just as you finish it off, you hear from the thick bulkhead footsteps approaching from the other side.
What level was it, sorry?
It's first level.
Then that's where we'll take a break. 10-minute break, and we'll see you guys soon.
Oh.
Whoa! Everyone's married?
Hey guys, Ahmed here, aka Bjorn Orphan. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment your favourite moment below. And remember, keep spreading the mythic word.